We shift our focus to this story now. President Cyril Ramaphosa has assigned shareholder responsibility for each of these state-owned enterprises that previously fell under the Department of Public Enterprises to the respective line function ministries. In a statement released yesterday, the presidency stated that President Ramaphosa has signed a proclamation appointing the minister in the presidency responsible for planning, monitoring and evaluation as the executive authority of the Department of Public Enterprises, which will continue to exist and operate until the human and financial resources are transferred appropriately. Joining us to discuss this further is Dr Harlan Cloete. He's from the University of the Free State's Public Administration and Management Department. Good afternoon, Doctor. Thank you very much for joining us on The Full View. It seems a number of organizations have welcomed the move, some saying there'll be better coordination now, where departments in charge of policy will be in charge of implementation. Where do you stand on this decision?
No, I think thank you very much. Good evening to you and good evening to the viewers. Any steps to ensure a more efficient and more effective state should be welcomed. And I think this attempt in terms of moving that responsibility to the line function is welcomed. Hopefully, we would see better services and better coordination between these departments.
But if we had to be granular and speak of the benefits thereof, what exactly would be the benefits if you see perhaps a Denel now being moved to Minister Angie Motshekga, who also has to oversee SANDF? There's quite a lot on her plate currently. What would be the real benefits to it?
I think the benefits is greater coordination. If you look at how some of these state-owned enterprises have performed, if you look at I listened to the previous clip of the Deputy President of the developmental state, is to use a lot of these institutions to fast-track the growth of the economy, to ensure inclusive growth and ensure ethical leadership. So the governance problems, hopefully, through better coordination, one would get better outcomes in terms of governing them and streamlining them in line with these ministries. For example, SA Airways and SA Express, those have been aligned with the Department of Transport so that you have better coordination instead of this fragmented, and with governance as well. If you have too many bosses, if you have too many line functions, all of that makes for ineffective governance. So hopefully with this, the restructuring of state-owned enterprises, I think why they were established to fast-track, that would be sped up.
Then to the envisioned National Enterprise Holding Company that we first heard of in the President's opening address in Parliament. Some have expressed their reservations on that SOE, on those SOEs being transferred to the holding company. Where do you stand on that one? Should we actually transfer them?
I think, I think for me at this stage, it's about effectiveness, efficiency in terms of making sure that the governance is right. I think government have got a lot of plans. It's in the how that often where we short circuit. And so in terms of making sure that they function, I think that should be number one priority, making sure that they function in terms of the intended reason why they were established. So better coordination to ensure efficiency and effectiveness, and making sure that these institutions are used to make sure that we get the economy going.
But when it comes to funding of the state-owned entities, it seems as though this holding company was meant to do just that, where we'd see investors perhaps being keen to buy shares. But the biggest question some have been asking is who would be keen to buy shares in underperforming companies once we have them or place them in this holding company?
No, I think it's exactly that. It's about trying, I think the president keeps on emphasizing it, that government's role is not to create jobs, but it is to create that enabling environment. But the president has continuously also emphasized the importance of private sector investment to make sure that it gets it going. Now, if you have a combination of private sector and the state, I think it holds the potential for better governance. If you've got also private sector investment in these state-owned enterprises. So I think it's still wait and see. It's early days. Government's intent is there. And I think it could also be the spillover of the government of national unity, a greater sense of urgency to ensure greater private sector involvement also with the state-owned enterprises.
I agree with you. It is a wait and see, but as we can see that many are quite optimistic of this very move. Doctor, thank you very much for joining us this evening. That's Dr. Harlan Cloete from the University of the Free State's Public Administration and Management Department speaking to us.